Now, I was born and raised in Pittsburgh. And one thing about me is I love my city. But sometimes I don't know if this is the city of steel or if this is the city of pedophile Catholic priests.
37 priests in the Allentown Diocese are among those named as known or alleged abusers in a bombshell grand jury report on clergy sex abuse in Pennsylvania. The report finds hundreds of priests statewide molested more than 1,000 children and that church officials engaged in a systematic cover-up.
The Pennsylvania grand jury report lists the names of 301 so-called predator priests accused of sexually abusing children in 6 of the state's 8 Catholic dioceses.
You cannot file a lawsuit directly against one individual priest. That's why the diocese and everyone else is named. And there are 2 lawsuits that were filed on Friday. Both of them allege that the leaders of the church and here in the Pittsburgh diocese knew about these 2 problematic priests, yet did nothing about it.
The report will be devastating, detailing 70 years of sexual abuse, with as many as 90 offenders cited in the Diocese of Pittsburgh alone. In this letter, read at all masses, Bishop Zubik called it a sad and tragic description of events, warning parishioners that it, quote, may test your faith.
All of the victims were brushed aside in every part of the state by church leaders who preferred to protect the abusers and their institutions above all. Priests were raping little boys and girls, and the men of God who were responsible for them not only did nothing, they hid it all for decades. The effect not only victimized children, it served a legal purpose that church officials manipulated for their advantage. The longer they covered it up, the less chance law enforcement could prosecute these predators because the statute of limitations would run.
And it was talking about how there was over 300 Catholic priests were abusing thousands of kids throughout the years. And what I noticed is that I've seen a few people that I know really well seen this pop up on the news, and they seem just disinterested, right? And these are very caring people. And my mind was blown. Pittsburgh, a hot spot for sexual abuse cases. You know, I was just like, I was astonished. I was like, this is crazy. But they seem disinterested. They were Christians, by the way. And the same people would have been outraged by, let's say, if Donald Trump said something, but disinterested about the huge scandal in their own city. So I realized this was cognitive dissonance, right? And this was only on the news very briefly. Just, they mentioned it and then they went on to the next story, and it was like, it never happened. But I saw it. And so I realized how the media kind of gives you permission about what to be outraged about. And I realize how brainwashed people are. You have all these children that get abused by these Catholic priests, just numerous, so many children, just, it's too many to count, that just get abused over and over again. And these brainwashed adults are too brainwashed to even care, right? They're too attached to their religion. Their religion comes before children safety, because see, they don't want to look at the darkness in their religion. They can't handle it, right? And so they prefer cognitive dissonance. They prefer to pretend like it never really happened, right? In the media, they could care less, right? See, these adults are too weak and cowardly to call shit out. They don't want to offend anybody. They don't want to upset anybody, right? They don't want to trigger anybody. While these kids get abused over and over again, physically, mentally, and these adults are just too cowardly to stand up and call shit out and try to figure this out. Why? Why are so many Catholic priests always abusing? Like, what's going on? What's the connection? You see, in Catholicism, they demonize sexuality, right? They demonize your desire to procreate. And see, people then, because they don't want to sin, they don't want to go to hell for all eternity, understandably, they resist. They resist all that sexual energy. And what you resist persists. And see, it causes so much psychological turmoil, because you're at odds with your own natural sexual desires. And see, that then creates perversions, right? Because when you resist it, it just keeps coming back stronger and stronger, and you resist it year after year, right? You're asking forgiveness when these thoughts come up. You know, you're resisting, you're separating yourself from that. So it persists and gets stronger and stronger. And then maybe you feel guilty, right? Because you're having all these sinful thoughts. So you get on drugs to cope with that. And then that creates more perversion, right? See, now there's other factors involved, right? People have all type of stuff going on in their ancestry, right? But this is what people don't want to talk about, because people don't want to acknowledge the darkness in their religions. They just can't bear to look at it. They can't bear the truth. So the kids, the children, nothing gets changed. Nothing changes. And you can see it with the school system. You know, no matter how many schools get shot up, no matter how depressed and miserable people are, nothing changes, because the traumatized, fragmented ego, mind, identity can't stand looking at its darkness. It's been brainwashed to just separate itself from its darkness, pretend it doesn't exist, right? Cognitive dissonance, instead of looking at it and acknowledging it. And so the darkness just grows and grows. This is why we have to be able to look at our belief systems or religions, whatever it is. And we need to stop separating ourselves from the darkness and then just blaming it on the devil. We need to have the courage to look at our dark side. Or it's only going to get more and more dark. See, the truth is that these adults, they're more concerned with protecting their egos, right? They're more into their brainwashing than doing what's best for children. And then a lot of these egos, they're just these traumatized, fragmented egos that think they're separate from everything, are gutless. They don't have the courage to call out the Catholic Church. It's just too powerful. And they don't want to offend anybody. These presidents, they rather kiss the Pope's ass, right? And get his blessings so they can get more votes, right? Than call shit out. But this ain't the pandering channel. Because enough is enough. How many children have to suffer? How many children have to have mental illnesses because this inverted perversion of the truth? Dividing people, making people just resist themselves, be in mental turmoil with just natural biological functions, and then creating all these perversions, and then just be more concerned with Russiagate or whatever nonsense the media wants you to focus on and be obsessed with, and then forget about all the other shit. This ain't about upsetting people, upsetting people's egos. This is just about calling shit out. I don't mind offending people if it's for what's best. It's called the Gothic Church for a reason. It's dark. The Gothic Cathedral. They're not even hiding it. Look at it. It's beautiful, because I just have that kind of taste. I love the darkness in things. I can see the beauty in it. But enough is enough. We need to protect our children, whether it be from the Catholic Church, whether it be from whatever. We got to call this shit out. Instead of letting this shit go on and pretending like we don't know, we can't figure it out. Detach from this bullshit, these bullshit religions. And see, I don't hate anybody. I love everybody. But some of this shit gotta go. See, the Catholic Church was just created to separate you from God, to control people, to keep people low frequency, disempowered, always confessing their sins. Enough of that. Get off your knees. You don't need to confess anything to anybody, let alone these people, these fragmented egos, because they're not really people, they just think they are. They just want you to serve them. They just want your energy. That's what they're doing. They're siphoning your energy, giving it to demons. That's the purpose of the Catholic Church, to feed loose to demons and astral parasites that feed off your guilt, that feed off your shame, that feed off your fear. See, they're just siphoning your energy, keeping you in low frequency states. And then your life sucks and you run back to them trying to help me. And then they siphon more energy because you have no idea how to raise your frequency. You have no idea who you truly are, which is God's source creator, not your ego, not your body, not your mind, not your thoughts, but your sentience, the I am. That's who you truly are. God's source creator. And nothing is separate from you. But they want you to believe that everything is separate from you, that God is separate from you. So you got to be in fear so they can get your energy. It's brainwashing. You don't need to confess nothing and nobody. You're the source. Your love, your wisdom, your power, you're it. But see, the left polarity can trick you, right? They can brainwash you and trick you into thinking you're separate. And to think something is wrong with you. Nothing is wrong with you. The Creator doesn't make any mistakes. And that Creator is you. The I am. Again, not your traumatized, fragmented ego mind identity. So let's face our darkness. Let's face the darkness in our institutions, in our religions, and stop running from them. Stop cowering to them. We have to have the courage to be disliked. Some of your other selves might dislike you for speaking the truth, for calling out the darkness. So what? We're not going to create a better world with the same consciousness that we created the disastrous one. We have to reach a higher state of consciousness and realize we are one and realize our true identity. And realize you are whole and complete. Creation is finished. The ego mind identity isn't who you are. You are an energy being. That doesn't need to bow to anyone. No one is above you, you are above no one. That's just the ego mind identity that likes to think that likes to think it's below people or above people. That's just the ego mind identity. It's all one thing. This channel ain't afraid of the smoke. This ain't just kumbaya, can't we all get along? Nah, some shit gotta be called out. The feminine men can, the new age feminine men can sit around and sing kumbaya because they don't have the courage to call shit out. But that ain't what this channel is. And I love them, by the way. Sweethearts. All right, I love y'all. Peace.